Welcome to Baker Street Live number 9. Joe Holmes, Baker Street Timepieces, Baker Street Case Files. Baker Street Timepieces here with
Tim Holmes, Baker Street South. What's up?
So what do we got going on this week? What are we giving the people this week, I guess?
Well, we got a new section we're adding. We're gonna have stories from the files,
Nice.
some customer experiences that we've had, and some cool stories. So we started it last week, and I think we'll carry on with that.
Nice.
I had fun personally doing the Oscar watch reviews. So we found a couple other celeb sightings this week. So I think that'll be fun. And then what else you got? We got some inventory, industry
Yeah.
news, some new stuff from Longines.
Yeah, I think we got a bunch of. It seems like it was a pretty good week for new releases. It seems like I don't know, maybe all these watch companies decided they hadn't done anything fun in a while, so they decided to kick it off for this week. But yeah, we got a couple of things. We
I
got
was
some
gonna
new
say
stuff from Omega.
Watches and Wonders is coming up too, so you got all the pre-release for that. So
Yeah,
do you buy me a ticket for Watches and Wonders, Joe?
yeah.
I wanted to
figured you just take the train.
Yeah.
It should be no problem, right?
Yeah. Take the train to Switzerland. No problem.
That's right. Take the train.
It'd be great.
What was I saying? Yeah, it seems like there's some cool releases though coming up to that. And then I don't know. As I was reading some stuff this morning, the speculation around Rolex just continues to get crazy. They're talking about new yacht masters.
Yeah, talk about
all
that because
sorts of fun
I
stuff.
was away for a couple of days. Yeah.
So I don't know. I was
let's
reading
do that,
through.
'cause
I was reading through a couple of pieces, and they were saying like that taking the Pepsi away is like still up in the air. Nobody really believes it's going to happen, but it seems that there's a lot of indications that say they might be refreshing it. But I don't know. Like when you really think about it, what's to refresh there? What are you going to change unless you're coming out with new movement? Or
I think they're going to
anything like
refresh it from. I think they're going to refresh it from a Pepsi to a Coke. How about that? That's
That's it?
my wild take. That's my
They're
bet.
gonna
Yeah.
go
I
across the
think
cola
Pepsi
aisle.
discontinues, Coke comes across. Yep.
Yeah, would you be a fan of that? You want the Coke to come back?
I mean, you know what's funny? The story of my own personal Pepsi GMT, which I have, I wanted a Coke GMT. I bought a Pepsi and then bought the Coke insert because from the previous model, there's no difference in the reference number. So you could technically change the insert and they're all
Yeah.
the same reference. And then I never wore the Coke. I only ever wore it as a Pepsi, but I wanted it as a Coke. So who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. I think maybe then you could justify them kind of releasing the Tudor Coke as like a prerequisite and then testing the market a little bit. I feel like that did really, really well, but a little bit different size though. So I don't know. That's kind of an interesting one.
Different size, and it's got a different look. Honestly, I prefer the Tudor Coke bezel and look than to the Rolex Coke from the previous model GMT2.
Because of like the gilt?
Because the gilt, yeah, the
Yeah.
gilt really warms that whole thing up and gives it a very different feel. Quite like wearing the Tudor Cokes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not a fan of the Black Bay 58 on this channel. We never talk about it.
Never talk about that.
What do you think? Should we kick this off with a wristwatch check?
Yeah, let's do
that's
that.
true. All right. You want me to go first? You going first?
No, you go first.
All right. So I got the Speedmaster Date that's in inventory. Unfortunately, the bracelet was a little small for my gargantuan wrist, so I went ahead and threw it on this leather strap. I think listen, at 40, it wears great. I think it looks great. The blue dial, I think, pops against that kind of like more rugged brown leather look. So I think it actually wears well there. I actually had it on something like this also. I don't know if you could see it. Like one of those, I forget what to call it. It's like not a racing strap, something like that. But anyways, I think it's a nice piece. I love it. And I couldn't fit the bracelet on, so I had to go with leather.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I like the blue dials on the Speedmasters, so yeah, I got no problem with that.
How about you? What are you wearing?
I have got on our Tudor Black Bay chronograph.
Nice.
Panda. We talked about it last week. We had just gotten it in the day before we streamed last week, and as soon as the stream was over, I went downstairs and sized it and put it on. So that's what I'm wearing.
That's awesome. No, I love it. All right. So why don't we? I know we said we're gonna do a new segment where we kind of talk about some customer experience stuff. You want to dive in? I think you had a story you were kind of looking to share.
Yeah. So I had a client reach out to us, found us on eBay, and kind of shout out to eBay. You know, eBay has been Initially, it was something I was kind of nervous to get involved with, but it's been a really, really good avenue for us to get customers and have customers find us. And anyway, my phone rang one day, and it was at the gym, as I tend to be. And I get this call, and it's this young man. And he says, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a GMT Pepsi for my dad. I've been on a waiting list for one at the Rolex boutique." And I kind of chuckled silently, and he goes, I haven't gotten it, and it's his 70th birthday or whatever it was coming up, and he goes, I really want to get him a Pepsi GMT. I saw your tutor, tell me about it. So I gave him kind of our typical, spiel on how Tudor is every bit. I don't want to say every bit as good as Rolex, but in a lot of ways it is, and basically save a ton of money and get
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
most of the look. And at the end of the conversation, he was pretty well sold, and eventually we came to a number, and he wound up pulling the trigger. And meanwhile, he calls me back a couple of days later. He called the Rolex boutique, and they were out of business. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so thankful that I got it." And then actually, just this morning, he sent me a couple of pictures from his father's birthday, with his dad opening the box and actually getting the watch, and kind of telling him, "Don't bother to get the Rolex." He goes, "This is plenty of watch for me." So
That's so cool. I love
yeah, it was a
kind of
really cool
closing the
story.
loop on stuff like that, because it's like, you and I have both gifted watches to people, so we know that feeling, and we also know the
Yeah,
feeling of like when you give a watch to somebody who wants a watch and will
yeah,
appreciate it. It's like, and especially something like that. I mean, you're not giving them something that costs a couple of $100. That's a really well thought out and thoughtful gift. So
yeah,
super cool. It's kind of what we do it
yeah. And
for sure.
I was just going to say that was my response to him. I was like, that's exactly why Joe and I opened Baker Street,
Yeah.
and why it's that investigative theme, right? Because like when you're really looking for something, especially if I mean, I'm known to have an impulse buy here and again, but most of the time I'm considered, and I think about what I want to buy, and then I really research it, and I kind of go through that process. And with our last name being Holmes and Sherlock being an investigator and the whole kind of a thing, and watches playing such a big thing in that time frame,
Sure.
is really kind of the storyline of how Baker Street came to start about. And it really just made me happy, to be able to help somebody source exactly what they needed, and then to see it through to the very end, and the end result of a very happy recipient of a timepiece from Baker Street.
No, that's awesome. Love to hear it. And
Yeah,
obviously, I know we usually will ask, anybody who buys a watch, please send us some wrist shots for us, because it's like that's what we do it for. When you first get it on wrist and
yeah,
you look at yourself, you're like, "Ooh, that's exactly what I wanted." Or maybe, "Ooh, that didn't exactly work," but come back to us and we'll figure out something else. We'll get you right.
yeah. We'll
But
catch and release it for you.
but I think, that's definitely one of the things that for us makes it certainly
Yeah,
worthwhile. You had
I
Rick in
know
the chat
Larissa's
who said you
listening in.
solved. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know Larissa's listening in, so add to our laundry list of things that need to still be done. We need to get a haul of wristwatch shots on the website for anybody who's given us
Ah, that's a good
permission to
idea.
share
I
them.
like that.
Yeah, we should definitely do that on the website. So
And then Rick
cool.
just shouted you out in the chat saying you solved case 302 for him, and then he said thanks, Tim. So yeah, super
Ah,
cool.
Rick, nice to have you on stream. Yeah, I got your watch out yesterday. It should be on its way to you. So congratulations, and wear it in the best of health.
Yes, sir. All right, cool. So that's that one. I think, generally speaking, from here we could flip to kind of some industry news and go through,
Yeah,
some of the stuff that came out for this week. So, I know we got a couple people here in the chat, so please definitely, feel free to react to any of this stuff. Let us know kind of what your thoughts are. I mean, we're going through and giving you just kind of our gut reactions as to old curmudgeon watch people. But, if you guys have stuff that you feel about any of this, feel free to chime in as well. So, without much further ado, so looks like there was a new release from Omega in their Constellation line. So this is the Constellation Observatory. So first thing I was looking at, I was like, this doesn't look that different than the Globemaster without maybe that kind of fluted-ish bezel. Kind of ties back to maybe those older Omega pie pans, some vintage history there. And then I noticed there's only two hands. There's no second hand. So
right.
I guess this is Omega saying, "Hey, we're going to make a two hand a two hand watch." And then additionally, they've invested to make those Metis certified movements. So that's a Meta certified two-hander movement that goes in, I believe it's 39 and a half, 39.4 is the case size. Um,
Hmm.
I think it's pretty interesting. Leans more dressy to me than anything else, but I do like kind of
Sure.
the way it feels very vintage.
Hmm.
But I don't like the price tag, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, we kind of had a quick conversation before the stream, and you shared the tag, which you should share with the group. Share with
Yeah,
the
so
team, Joe.
10.9 for the steel
Ooh.
version of this watch. I
Oof.
think there's a lot of watches at 10.9 that I would probably put on wrist. So I don't
Oof.
know what the chat
Oh
thinks of
yeah.
that, but I mean,
Yeah.
cool, advanced. I get it, but I would say if you're looking for one of these, it might be worth it to wait for the secondary market.
Yeah, I would wait until Baker Street Timepieces has one in stock because I can assure you it won't be 10.9. Yeah, I think I agree with you across the board. To me, if I'm in Omega's design team, I would love to have a sub-second dial of a variant of this watch. I
Hmm.
think that would be a cool secondary look that they could have, and kind of dress it up a little bit further, and probably get to that $10,000 price point. If I were in their design room and in their boardroom, I would have targeted, probably like a $7,000 to $8,000 base price on the stainless steel,
Hmm.
probably like with the sub-second just at 10, and then precious metals and any other variables, you can push it into the higher registers. But
Then
again,
how are you going to pay for this presentation box if you're pricing it at $7,000? I mean, look at this
I
thing.
mean, one thing Omega wins on is presentation boxes, because every time I pack up an Omega, I go, boy, wow, these boxes, man, they're really, really nice. They're
Yeah.
beautiful boxes. Rick will find his soon, and I think the boxes that they ship out are unbelievable. So,
This one down here is interesting. So this is, I'm assuming they're all gold variant with kind of like a gold. I mean, I don't even know how you would describe this bracelet, but that
mhm.
really has a very cool vintage feel to it, though.
Yeah, I mean, again, those who've watched the stream before know I'm not a particularly precious metal kind of dude, but yeah, if you want to wear a whole lot of gold on your wrist, why not? Looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Again, I
So
like the
that's
watch. I just I have no qualms about the watch itself. I think their price is a little pie in the
yeah.
sky.
No, I gotcha. All right, so that's a new release
Cool.
from Omega. Second piece here. So first, before we get into it, and I know there's a lot on this page, but re-release on the Hydra Conquest from Longines. I think they did the GMT first, if I remember correctly. They did some revisions to that. We had one of those that's actually since sold. But I think when you remember the Longines Hydra Conquest, you probably remember something more like this one, where it had those big kind of 12, 9, and 6 indices. What they've done now
Hmm.
is they've gotten rid of that, which I think modernizes this watch a ton. And they've also released it with both the H-Link clasp, H-Link bracelet, as well as the mesh bracelet. So if looking at these kind of along that top row, those would be the new releases. And I
Hmm.
think they freaking crushed it. I think this looks great.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. That ice blue on the left hand side there.
Sick.
Um, I think it's awesome looking. I honestly will probably buy emotionally the first one that I see that comes through the secondary market, because I have an emotional buying problem when it comes to watches for inventory. And if it were on mesh, I think it would look even better. But that's me. I like mesh bracelets. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think they crushed it. And we were talking about this price point too, which I think is like right in the low twos. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, so it's 2,200 on the steel. Well, they're both steel. Let's be not so stupid, Joe. 2,200 on
Yeah,
the H Link, 2,400 on the mesh strap.
on the mesh. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, close as is going to be on both of those. Um, listen, I think it's a little bit in the same category on the Omega, where I think it's probably a little bit of a reach, but they have to push up. I mean, that's part of the nature of a redesign. You want to justify a price increase, and I think in this case, it's 100% justified. And again, I think once this reaches the second market and cools off just a little bit, and you're
yeah,
buying these at probably like a year old for like 12 to 13, $1,500, like they sell for now. I think you got an awful lot of watch,
yeah.
especially one of the things I haven't mentioned on the stream before, but we've now moved probably like 10 Longines, and every time I put them on the time grapher, I'm pretty amazed at how well they run, considering
Yeah.
they're in that lower price point. They regulate them really well. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I would say like in this price point prior to the redesign and then prior to the redesign on the GMT, I would have leaned hard Oris in terms of like if
Hmm.
I'm looking at kind of like that entry Swiss diver with, good good long history, all that stuff. And like this is certainly to me starting to put them in a category where that's a run for its money. I mean, the GMT we had not that long ago was gorgeous, right? It was
Yeah.
awesome. And then, I think Oris now with the new caliber that they've released, I mean, that's obviously another new challenge that Longines will have to compete with. I do think this is
Yeah.
still a ETA variant in terms of the movement that's in these. So that's a little bit, I would say, a step behind the Oris. But I also think, these in comparison to those Caliber 400 Orises will probably eventually settle in a little bit under them from a market price perspective. And I
Correct.
think you're
Yeah.
going to get a ton of watch and a great looking piece for that money. So,
Yeah, and people like to throw shade at the ETAs, but I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why they are so popular and they're in so
yeah.
many different watches is because they run really damn well and they're fairly inexpensive to keep up with. So, I mean, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, throw shade all you want. It's it runs well and it'll last a long time. So yeah,
Yeah.
and it's inexpensive to repair. Before we
Good.
move on from this one, let's throw it out to the chat. Let's kind of scroll through that top line of the new ones. What's everybody's favorite color? I mean, Joe and I have a particular penchant for the ice blue, but there's a black and blue dial, there's a black and gray, and then there's a green variant. What is everybody thinking?
Yeah. And I was
Getting
just going to
any
say,
hot
as people are kind
responses?
of, I think it takes a second or so. But I think as you're kind of like going
Uh,
through and responding, like just comparing this top one here in blue to this one here in blue, right? Let's just say that's the evolution of the
Forget
watch.
it.
It's not even close. Like this
No,
watch
it's not even
looks
close.
so much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I like to me, it's the difference between I would not buy the bottom row one, and I
Yeah.
would buy the top row one, and
Yeah. Yeah.
wear it in a collection that has watches that are 10x that price tag. So
Yeah. 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 So we got Liam chimed
cool.
in on the ice blue. I agree. I think that is an
I
absolute home run. I like that they have it at
cool.
39 too. We didn't talk about that, but 39 and
Cool.
42, both variants, is just perfect.
I think they just sold me a watch, Joe. As soon as it goes down in price. All right, cool. Let's go.
Anywho,
What's
all
next?
right, that's what we had here. Next up, we have so a couple of releases now from Seiko. I'm not going to kind of drain the slides, so to say, on this one, but we'll go through it. So this is King Seiko. So obviously, when we think about kind of the Seiko lineup, there's Seiko, then King Seiko, and then you get into kind of that Grand Seiko line, which is separated even more. King Seiko, I guess,
Mhm.
was a little bit retired and came back more recently. But this watch was essentially designed to kind of honor some of the classic stylings that they had. And then this one is said to kind of pull design elements from the Skyline, I guess, in Tokyo. And that's kind of
Yeah.
like those kind of lighter indices versus the darker indices, kind of indicating lights that are on in different buildings and things like that. So I think when I read that, I was like, oh, that's kind of, I see it, like that makes sense. I feel that.
Mhm.
I think for $3,000 though, I'm not gonna buy this. I'd rather that Longines that we just had, to be honest with you.
I was just about to say, yeah, 3 grand. Yeah, I'll pass. I'm gonna pass there.
Anyways, cool looking piece nonetheless. I just think it's more interesting. For me, the call out was they continue to invest in King Seiko, where that's not something that's been kind of that they've done for a while. So interesting call out there.
Yeah.
Second piece, this is also from Seiko from their Marine Master lineup. I know Brian, who's on the stream, has one of these or had one of these at some point. Maybe not this exact one, but
Hmm.
again, very very capable dive watches. This is kind of when you think about Seiko's dive watch lineup. This is probably the
Hmm.
penultimate. Really, I mean, it doesn't look so different. And one of the things that I kind of called out or when I first was looking at it is like, this is the 1968 model and they're not messing with what works. Like if you look at
No,
this
no,
and then
no.
you look at kind of what they have here, there's really just, I mean, obviously materials have changed, capabilities changed, all that stuff. But I mean, the normal stuff is still the normal stuff. It's all there and present. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
again, I think it looks great. I just saw the price tag in our notes and and I'm already off of it. But it's yeah, I think it's great looking, but I would sooner have the $3,000 back in my pocket and I would buy the Seiko that I already own.
yeah.
The what do you call it? The GMT the heck is that thing called? The 5 Seiko 5 GMT.
Mm. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And then Liam called out this is the first non-limited watch with that movement in it. I didn't see that when I was reading, but I'll trust the facts. You're a pretty straightforward guy, Liam, so I believe it. And then this was a secondary collaboration that they had with Jams Tech, which I guess is their kind of marine earth science and technology. And then this side's just, I know it's a little kitschy, but I think the dial really captures exactly what's behind it. They did the thing.
Yeah, I think that dial crushes it again at $3,900. There's a lot of other ways to spend $3,900 in the horological department, but that is an awesome looking dial. And again, in 2 years when it's in at 1,800 trading around at that range, yeah, maybe I'd consider it. At four
Nice.
grand, it's for somebody else to invest in, I think.
There you go. So I think that concludes kind of new releases. There was some other kind of micro brand new releases. We may compile that into kind of a micro brand segment at some point. But Brian did chime in. He said if you put both of them in your hand at the same time, you would throw that 5 in the trash. Oh, I get that.
No, I'm sure it's.
I get that.
I'm sure it's not nearly as nice a watch. I will grant you that, Brian.
All right, so we have that. Next up, we had some celebrity watch spotting. I know this is kind of one of the things that a couple of different publications put something like this out. We just figured we'll go through it, we'll react to it, and get everybody in the. Brian also chimed in and said, "Don't buy one at retail," which I think we would agree. But
we would agree. Yeah.
So yeah, back to celebrity watch spotting. I know this is kind of a couple of things in different publications, but we figured we'd react to it and get your guys' reactions to it as well. So we'll kind of flip to that next. So first off,
so here's what I want to do on these, Joe, before we start. So let's do the old Caesar routine in what do you call it, Gladiator. All right, so we'll hold out the thumb, even, and then at the end of it, we'll count it down, and we'll either thumbs up or thumbs down.
I like it. All right, so here we go.
Cool.
That was on the fly.
So talk to me about this one.
So we have Travis Scott at the Fanatics flag football game, which was actually kind of wild. I don't know if there's a bunch of football fans in here, but one of the things I don't have to hold it out the whole time. That feels way better. But one of the things that they called out was like, hey, the football players that play flag football only would be so much better than the players in the NFL because it's a different game, yada yada yada. And it kind of was. It was interesting to watch because, not that we're talking watches here, but it was interesting to watch because it is a different game, and some of the NFL players were definitely a little bit far behind in terms of like play calling and stuff. But anyways, we'll get back to Travis Scott here. Travis Scott with the RM. I don't know. That's something up to what is it?
Ready?
RM 2704. This is it. This is the vote. You ready? What are we doing? 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Not for me.
Oh,
not for me.
Agree.
Listen, I get it. I understand the obsession with them. Obviously, materials, watchmaking, all of that, unreal. But just to me, they don't do it. It's just not my style.
Yeah. So I'll add to it. Maybe when I can afford one, I will think differently. And I'm going to throw that out into the universe, and hopefully there are many more collectors that come to Baker Street and allow us to help them find their next watch. And that maybe someday I can afford a Richard Mille. But until that point in time, it's going to be a thumbs down for me, bro.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that's the Cactus Jack edition, apparently. No, it's not. I'm taking it back. Whatever. Moving on.
No,
so we got
Nadal.
Ryan Gosling with the Tag Heuer chronograph. I think that's a new one, which we featured here a little while ago. Yeah. I mean, well, we could vote on it. Do we want to vote on it, or how do we want to?
Well, let's give a couple of details. 41 millimeter glass box. I don't know what that means. Crystal profile. Tag Heuer in-house 80-hour power reserve. This is the wearable ambassador pick. I don't know what that means.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. I don't have any ups or downs. Price point is probably around $3 or $4 grand would be my guess based on Tag Heuer's.
Recently they've gone up a little bit. I think it's probably in the 4 to 5s, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just go based on no. Let's not talk about price. Let's just go based on the way that it looks. Price not in consideration. Let's get the thumbs up. You ready? 1,
count it down.
2, 3, go.
Yeah,
I'd wear that watch. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think it looks great.
What's the crowd think?
I think the Beads of Rice style bracelet looks really cool. I think the color looks great. I hope the color looks that good in person because that looks awesome. Yeah, it's like a traditional Carrera chronograph. I think it's awesome. No problems there.
I think with the Beads of Rice bracelet, all right, here's my hot take on this one. I think they're biting off a little Breitling, and I think they're doing a good job of it, actually. I think they did a good job biting a little Breitling, which is cool.
Yeah. I think it looks good. Interested to see. So we got some negative feedback on the RM, which is good. I feel heard now. And then on the Carrera, I'll be interested to see what people come up with. Next up, we got the Beebs here. The Beebs here in a Cellini ladies something or other. I've never even seen this watch.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna stick my thumb out now. I don't want to know anything more about it. I just want to vote on this.
I mean, I don't think it would fit on my wrist, but yeah, I would go down on this as well. We don't have to call it down. 23 millimeter ladies Cellini is going to get an automatic thumbs down from me. If you're bold enough to wear it, then you're Justin Bieber, and good for you. Yeah, no, that was interesting. And then last one here, we have Young Cook with a Hublot Big Bang Unico Black Magic. I think this is a big boy. I don't remember how big. 44 millimeters, yeah. Flyback chronograph, 44. Which we talked about a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So
Black Magic, 100 millimeter water resistance, all black. I kind of like it. Strength on camera, high contrast. All right, let's stick the thumbs out for this. What are you thinking? We'll go 1, 2, 3. Oh, we disagree. I'm
disagreement.
I'm telling you, Nico Leonard's coming for me. I haven't been liking these Hublots the last couple weeks. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think something about the design elements of it. Maybe it's the numerals or something along those lines. It just doesn't sit right with me. I also think it just looks very chunky. I don't know. Even a big guy like me, I like big watches. I don't have any problems with that. But I don't know. This one just doesn't do it for me.
I like the all black. I think 44 would be a stretch on my wrist. I haven't mentioned my wrist size in a couple of weeks. I'm going to try to keep the streak alive. But I think that I don't know. Maybe I have no taste and I just like Hublot. I don't know. I like it. I would wear it. I probably won't pay whatever it's going for, but then again, almost nobody else will on the planet. And in a few weeks, once it's been worn 3 times, it'll be worth a third of what it was worth to begin with. So
maybe not a third, but I get it. All right, that concludes.
Anybody else have an opinion on the Cellini, the Justin Bieber Cellini?
No, I think we got an eye roll from one. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. And you all can make fun of me in the comments for liking Hublot. That's fair. Oh, we forgot Travis Kelce.
One more. We got one more honorable mention. I forgot to hit the
Travis
tab
Kelce.
Here. So we got Travis Kelce signing his 1-year extension with the Chiefs. I know there's some hot topics on whether he retire or come back. I don't know if you could see it kind of sneakily there on the wrist. That is a Santos skeleton dial. Last one I guess we get to vote on. Listen, it's a classic watch for a reason. Different style here. But 3, 2, 1, I'm good with it. I think it's a cool piece. I think it's classy. I'm all in.
I like the dial. I'm not generally a precious metal fan, but I like the dial on that one. And if he throws in his jacket, I'll buy it right now. I'll pony up some money.
If he throws in his jacket, you can't afford it. Come on.
No, I can't afford either of them. But,
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. Rick voted down on one of them. I don't know which one it was. I think it came in right after Travis, but
yeah, maybe it was the Travis Kelce Cartier. All right, cool. So what are we up to now? We're up to inventory?
Yeah, we got some inventory here. We can go through some of that stuff, see if there's things that people like. I think I got the first one here.
Yeah, you got the coolest one, I think, out of the group this time around. It's certainly probably the rarest out of the group.
Yeah, so I guess before we kind of get into too much about this one, I'll jump into it in just a second. But I think it's interesting when you think about kind of connections that you make randomly and kind of how they lead to different things. So this is, we picked this one up from a jeweler in Massachusetts who I got to know through a really close friend in the watch community. And it's just one of those things where you kind of network and one person meets another and meets another. And he had somebody who came in with a couple of watches that he was looking to get rid of, and they don't really participate too much in the watch game. So he just texted me. He's like, "Hey, I got this that just came in," and I was like, "I'd be interested in moving it. Are you interested in it?" And before I knew it, this person had a collection of a couple other watches, and we're sitting there trying to buy multiple pieces from someone through a random connection. So I think it kind of harkens back to a little bit about what you were talking about before. It's like those are the types of things, those connections, and kind of that ability to help people out that are looking for something new, that we really kind of do this stuff for. So super appreciative of all the people that we've kind of come to know along the way. But first and foremost today is case number 312. This is the Omega Seamaster Diver 300, No Time to Die James Bond edition. So for those people that follow kind of the Seamaster lineup, obviously I think this probably doesn't need too much of an introduction. I would say once I put this on wrist, one of the things that was most shocking to me outside of the weight, because it's full titanium bracelet, was actually the thickness. I didn't know it from kind of my initial research, but it's thinner than the traditional Seamaster. So I guess it's the way that Dome Sapphire works or whatever it is, but it wears super comfortable. It's one of those watches you really barely know it's on the wrist. It's 42 millimeters. I think as compared to some of the other kind of Omegas with that more glossy dial texture, this is a little bit more matte, a little bit more muted, kind of gives that more military / James Bondish style. It's got, what is it there, 8806 master chronometer. No date on this one, so a little bit different from kind of that traditional one. And I think it keeps the dial super symmetrical and clean. And then generally speaking, I think the color scheme, kind of that tropical brownish or whatever I guess you'd describe it as, to me, I think it just looks awesome. So big fan. Happy that we were able to pick this one up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if we were doing thumbs up here, I would do 2, because
100%.
I think this watch is awesome looking. I noticed it was shipped to you and not to me, which bums me out because I would be wearing it right now.
It wasn't shipped. I picked it up.
Oh, well, maybe I would have had to drive to Massachusetts. No, I think it's great looking. I think the little splash of red underneath the I don't know what that says because I can't read it from here, but it probably says Seamaster underneath the Omega there. I think that looks great. I think detail wise, this is pretty awesome, and the titanium mesh I think is a really nice addition to the overall look of the piece. And I bet you this is the kind of watch that if you had it, I would want to have a NATO that I liked on it, as well as a leather strap, because I think that this is a kind of watch that you can switch it up around, and it's going to have a different feel in every which variation that you put it on. So
I agree.
I like it.
It's funny. One of the interesting things is like I'm so used to asking like if a watch has all of its links. So when I first responded, I was like, "Oh, do you know what comes with the kit and like if it's full links, etc." And he's like, "I don't think there's links." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm such an idiot." Yeah, because it's got this kind of weird. I'll see if I can bring it in frame. But it's got this.
Why don't you pretend you're a watch dealer?
Yeah, I will one of these days. But it's got this titanium strap, but like the way it functions is it's almost like it's a deployant clasp, but like you basically just put it into those little holes to change the sizing, and it's so comfortable, like so comfortable. But
I love it. I think it's a home run. And when we come up to visit you in a couple of weeks, expect there to be a hole in your inventory where that used to be.
Well, it doesn't matter because Brian said if it's around in a week, it's going to be his. So you won't get that chance.
Brian, I would rather it go to you than to me. So I take my cap and hope that it does find its way to you. You are one of our favorite clients. So please, if you are inclined, do add it to your collection.
So on this one, just for kind of some general housekeeping, comes with everything, all 3 cards. It's got the hang tags, it's got the original stickers, it's got the carry case, and it's got the box. So full kit. On this one, some honest wear. The person who had this before definitely did not shy away. It's not a safe queen, but it's in very clean condition. So it's ready to be enjoyed by whoever's next. So I'll close out there and get ready to flip over to yours.
Yep, it's in focus. I hope.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
There we go.
So this is a Tudor Black Bay GMT Pepsi Opaline dial, and Joe probably got tired of hearing me say Opaline 100 times every time we would be gathering. So for those that don't know, internally we sync up usually once a week on what we're looking to buy, and every week I was like, I want an Opaline, I want an Opaline. And every week he would come back and say, I got a black one. And I'm like, where's my Opaline? So he finally got it for me. So I get to play with it. I think it looks awesome. I think the white Opaline dial is incredible in kind of lightening up the overall look of the GMT dial. It really calls out the light numerals around the bezel edge. Kind of blocking and tackling, 41 millimeters, 22 millimeter lug, 14 millimeters thick. It does wear a little high. I was wearing it yesterday. It does wear a little high. COSC movement, 70-hour power reserve, true GMT. So nice setting that compared to my my GMT. The domed Opaline dial really brings out that kind of polar explorer look, which I think is pretty cool. And then the Pepsi bezel insert is obviously a classic for a reason. A case 311 available now. I have at least 3 people that have been questioning me on it since we posted it. So I don't think this one is long for inventory, but hopefully it'll move on to the next collector and they'll enjoy it as much as I enjoyed wearing it for a day or two. What are your thoughts, Joe? Any opinions on the Opaline?
I mean, I was already a massive fan of the regular Pepsi GMT. I always loved the Rolex Meteorite GMT, and this is kind of like scratching that itch without having a moon rock on your hand, I guess. But yeah, I love it. I think all of it looks great. I think my one thing about the 41 millimeter Tudors is they're a little thicker than what you find in the 58. Like the Coke GMT, if they made that in this colorway, done. I'd pay retail, and that's not a joke. And that's somebody who doesn't usually pay retail. Hot take of the day. But I think that would be an absolute home run because that watch fits absolutely perfect, and this colorway to me is freaking money. I love it.
Here's another hot take. You could buy this watch versus that Meteorite Pepsi that you were just mentioning, and the new car, and probably still come away cheaper than the Meteorite Pepsi. So you know.
You can't drive a Meteorite. I'm just saying.
Can't drive a Meteorite. No. All right, cool. Let's go on to this next one. I haven't even seen this one. This is another one you stole from me.
Stole? That's a tough word here, buddy. All right. So this one is another one. Brian, you may recognize this. I don't know. So I was a goofball. I thought this was 43 and a half millimeters. It's actually 41 and a half, which is way better sizing. But this is the Oris Aquis. This is the Caliber 400 with the 5-day power reserve. And I don't know how Brian does it. Every time he trades us a watch, I get stuck in this spot where I'm just like, well, do I really need it? But every time they come in, I mean, I've already kept one of them. So he's one for 2, I guess, at this point. But this watch is awesome. It wears great. It feels great. The bracelet is, obviously those Oris bracelets are very comfortable. The integrated bracelet that comes along with them. The colorway, I mean, you can't really probably see it as perfect as you could. Hold on, let's see if I can move it. But the colorway is just awesome. It looks great. And it comes with the rubber strap also. So I don't know really what more you need. 5-day, 120-hour power reserve, 300 meters of water resistance, in-house Oris caliber. I mean, it's awesome. No regrets.
Yeah, no, the last one that we had in stock wasn't the newer model like this one. But I felt quite heavily on it. In fact, I almost bought the last one we had in stock also. So, which is really like getting high on your own supply as a watch dealer when you buy your own inventory. But I think I'm winning the race on that. I think I've bought 4 pieces from Baker Street Timepieces, and you've only bought 1. So you got to catch up.
Trying to see if I can get a visual on it. Probably not. But this also now has Oris's. Yeah, that's super helpful. Can you see it, guys? You see the strap change system that I'm trying to show off? So this also features Oris's new quick release strap change system. So it's almost like this little clip that you open up, you slide it right off, and you can slide the rubber on. So you don't need that was bad. So you don't need any tools or anything like that.
This is not getting better, Joe.
That's it. I'll just cut to the credits. Cut to the credits.
Hold on. I was so enthralled by your talking there, I didn't switch the watch out. Hold on. What's next for me?
What do you got? We got another 2.
I got a Ranger. Hold on.
All right. Yeah, but anyways, that Aquas, I think about that in comparison to the Longines we were looking at a little bit earlier today, and like
Yeah,
that's I think where Oris still has the upper hand. Like that
I think
movement
that
is
Aquas
just
is a great
dope.
line. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. All right, I'm ready.
Here we are.
All
Tell
right,
us
so
what we
the
won.
Tudor Ranger, 39 millimeters. We just talked about a minute ago how the 41 to 39 makes a big difference, but even bigger is the difference in thickness. You go from that almost 15 millimeter thick case down to a 12 millimeter thick case, which is a pretty significant difference.
Oh, you cut
20
out.
millimeter lugs.
I think you're back.
What's
You're
up?
good.
Uh, this is one of those like wear it every day. It does everything you could ever want it to do. 70-hour power reserve. It's rugged, easy to read with the 12369. And notice that the difference between that Longines earlier, where the 36912 was bigger. This is
Mm.
subtle, and really comes across in a very different way. And this one is basically new. It's a 2026, so it's basically new. Although it does have a little bit of bezel wear, just so anybody who may be considering it, it is not a Safe Queen. Somebody bought it 3 months ago and actually wore it. So, anywho, it is
Yeah, I don't know
in
why you're
otherwise in
cutting
very
out, but
nice shape, full kit, loaded up. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I was saying you were cutting out there for a second, but yeah, full kit, everything comes with it. Definitely some bezel wear on it. I think these new Rangers, to me, right, it's just a little bit like obviously it harkens back to kind of the Explorer line, ties in all that stuff. I do like the kind of faux patinaed loom. I think it looks cool on this, especially against that kind of stark black dial. But I think you get kind of the modern case sizing from the Tudor here. So I think it's awesome. We've had a lot of people who are interested in this piece also, so I think it's probably won't last till next stream. But at the same time, if you're interested in this one, certainly let us know. We can work with you on that. I,
Yep, that
I
sounds
think you
good.
get
And
the
there is an
last one too.
outside. Yeah, I do. I have the last one. Let me dig it up.
Were you
Actually,
saying
I
there's
have a
an outside
surprise
chance?
one too. I was going to say I may take that and have that bezel cleaned up just a little bit,
Sure.
because I think it would be a pretty quick fix and it would bring it back to basically being a 9 out of 10 from a used perspective. So cool.
You ready to
In
go?
focus for the next one. It's yet another Tudor. Who knew that we sold Tudors and Omegas?
That's
This
right.
one is the 41 millimeter monochrome. So this is back into kind of a larger size, but splits the middle on the thickness. So this one is only 13 and a half millimeters rather than the 14 and a half on the GMT. And that really makes a difference. Kind of does really split the middle on as far as the way
Yeah.
it wears on the wrist. Unidirectional 60-minute bezel obviously harkens back to the Submariner. In fact, this is probably the Submariner lookingest Tudor that you can buy.
Yeah.
Similar, Kosk, Super Kosk, Super Kosk movement. So obviously, it never ceases to amaze me. I mean, part of our check-in process is running them on the time grapher, and every time I put a Tudor on the time grapher, if it's not within 1 second, I'm like, oh, what's wrong with this Tudor? It's not running right. And I forget how unreal that is. And some of them
Yeah.
are like 5 and 10 years old, and they just still run perfect across, which is pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
another, if the Ranger is a one watch for everything, kind of a daily driver, this is a daily driver for somebody who's a little bit more rugged and tends to jump in the water occasionally. So it's my 2 second take on it. What about you?
Yeah. Love it. Um, Big Tudor fan anyway, but I think this one in particular, I know when the Metis first came out, like the Metis movement and kind of the newer versions of the 41 millimeter Black Bay, I was drawn to the red because I always liked the red version with the gilt dial. But I think
Hmm.
to your point, like if you're somebody who's kind of on that, ever long sub waiting list, like this is the type of thing you could buy and just rock this and you'll probably forget you're on the list unless you really want it. It's
Yeah.
every bit as capable. It's an awesome piece all around. And I'm a sucker for the snowflake hand, so maybe that's a me problem.
Agreed. That's something our dad really likes the snowflake hands over the Mercedes hands on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
sub. And the last thing to call out is that it is an option to be on a beads of rice or a Jubilee style bracelet,
yeah.
out of the factory, so you're not kind of messing around with that. And I think that is the subtle win on this particular watch over some of the other things that are out there that you can look at. So
Yeah. So I have in the personal collection, I have a Black Bay 58, the Burgundy, and through my kind of travels in the watch world, I came across the OEM Beads of Rice bracelet, so I bought that for it. And it's great to have both, just kind of switch them out because it really does change the feel of the watch and the look of the watch
yeah,
completely. And especially both of those pieces, you pop them on and off once you get comfortable with kind of the idea of changing out a bracelet, which is pretty straightforward. But yeah,
yep.
this is awesome. So this piece is naked. Yes, no watch, just no box paperwork or anything along those lines.
Yeah, no,
Obviously, a
nothing,
complimentary
nothing with it other
box.
than a watch and a story, and it's ready for its next owner and collector to move it on into the next its next part of life. And
Yes,
I do have
sir.
a surprise, Joe. Can you pause my stream on the under the lens? And I've got one extra one
Sure.
that I brought up.
I'll go through one that we actually we just grabbed. Haven't even
Oh
checked
yeah,
it in
cool.
yet. So we did get this ice blue PRX. Same collector that had the Omega that they were turning in. Had this one as well. So this one here, for those of you that are interested in anything that Tissot might have to offer, this is certainly one of their I would say probably one of the most popular releases they've had in a long, long time was the PRX, and then moving from there to this kind of ice blue variant was one that people continued to be interested in. So this one, he had it, he wore it. He, certainly some minor rash on some of the bracelet, but really, really pretty nice shape. This is watch only. I would say it fits about a 7 3/4 inch wrist. So it basically, it'll fit me no problem. And then, I would say if this is something you're interested in, we're probably going to get this posted up at sometime this afternoon, but it is available and it will be going up. You good on yours?
Yep. Yeah, I'm good on mine. Yeah, this is just we forgot to write this one up, but
Oh,
this
this one.
is super collectible Schumacher Racing Edition, Omega Speedmaster. This I believe is a full kit, if I remember correctly, and it looks better in person than it does on this stream, 100%. Couple things to call out here. In addition to the reverse panda style with the kind of the whole outside bezel part behind next to the bezel being white, which really provides a lot of high contrast, there's some red accents that really set this one off and give you a very interesting look that you're not going to see on everybody's wrist as far as Speedmasters are concerned, and really leans into the racing heritage of the Speedmaster. I think a lot of times people really remember the Speedmaster as the Moonwatch, which obviously it's very famous for being. But this is its racing heritage coming through, and there are quite a few Schumacher available. Schumacher editions available, but this is the Schumacher Legend edition. So this is probably slightly rarer than even some of the other ones. I've always been a fan of them, and I got to be honest with you, if I had the extra money laying around, I probably wouldn't have even posted this one. I would have bought it.
This is cool. I like it. Is this do you
Yeah.
know if the other Schumachers are smaller? This looks like it's a full-size
Yes, they
Speedmaster, is it?
They are, yeah, that's a big difference right there. So all the other Schumachers are the 40 millimeter automatic variant. This is an automatic, so it's an automatic, but it is a 42. So good call out there. Makes this even more different than the other Schumachers. On top of it being the quote unquote legend, on top of it being the reverse Panda, you also get a full size case and an automatic. So really very, if you want to get real nuanced into, my Schumacher is better than your Schumacher, you can play that game and you'll have top trumps with this one, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think what I've always liked about the Schumacher Racing watches has been they're not afraid to throw some random colors out there. So I know
Yep.
there's the red one, there's a yellow one. I guess those are what, Ferrari colors? Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, he was a Ferrari driver, yeah, F1.
That'll do it. So,
Yep.
I think from that perspective, those are some of the cool things. But this one, I think, you get all of the benefit of the rarity of this particular edition without it being so in your face. If that's something you're interested in, and for me, this being full size would be a deal maker, not a deal breaker for me. So,
Oh yeah, I think full size Panda collectible Schumacher. You got a lot of bases covered here, and it's still under the price of a full size Moonwatch. So
yeah, yeah,
seriously, you get a big win across the board. I don't have the case number in front of me because I just grabbed the watch on the way up, but it's literally fresh inventory just came in last week, and I doubt highly this will last another week. We've had 3 or 4 people asking about it, so
Yeah.
cool.
So I would say so that's kind of all we had here for today lined up. But obviously, I'd be interested to hear what everybody's favorite piece in inventory for the day was. I think there's some different variety, a lot of Tudor, but definitely some different pieces that we had there. And then I
Yep.
would say next week, I think on the horizon we have right now 6 Tudor, a Breitling, and 2 Omega that are probably in for next week for inventory. So if there's something that you didn't see today that you're chasing after, there's a chance we might have it coming in over the next couple of days. But generally speaking, I think that we have some fun stuff ready for you guys. So it'll be cool to see
Yeah.
what comes in next week.
I'm really excited to see that Navi. When I saw that come across our desk, I pinged Joe immediately. I was like, "Buy this watch. This is cool." So, yeah.
So favorite
Cool.
piece, we had the Schumacher is a chef's kiss from Liam. I don't disagree with that.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us, Liam. Hope you had some fun today.
Yeah.
While
for
you're not
sure.
out golfing and gallivanting, you could join us here and talk silly watch stuff.
Golfing. I
But
haven't golfed in a long time. Maybe I'll play some golf.
you need Liam in your life. He'll teach you how to golf.
Oh, I need something because the last time I played golf, I think I broke 6 clubs and a toe.
That doesn't sound like golfing. That sounds like a rage
Not a
room.
good day. Not a good day. Yeah, that's me. Rage room on the course. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's it. I think. Do we have anything else we need to touch base on? Anything else from the comment gallery that we need to address?
I would just say, I know Tim was the shameless plug last week, but I'll do it this week. There has been only a couple of people who have taken advantage of the potential to win back their merchandise cart. So if you're interested in it, you got a pretty high likelihood of having a $50 return, $50 credit
100.
on your merchandise. What is it? Is it up to 100?
100.
Oh,
Up to
that's too kind.
$100. Go
too
nuts.
kind.
Go buy some merch.
So yeah,
Yeah,
for those
I
of
think
you who
right
are
now
just
you have a
joining us-
chance. It's
go
like
ahead.
a 1 in 4 chance of winning. So, like if you put a card in today, you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting your money refunded. So, if there's anything in the merch store that you're interested in, and I'm glad you mentioned it. I forgot to type it up, but I'll quickly talk about it, and then next week we'll have it firm. So, we're pulling into the end of our 3rd quarter and into the end of the year. And to be perfectly frank, it has been an outstanding first year. Way better than I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say better than Joe and I ever expected it could be.
For sure.
I have decided that this is going to be my full-time job. And Joe, I don't know how much longer you want to work for, but that's your problem. I now work for me, which is pretty awesome. But we are going to announce next week's stream a major contest. We are giving away a watch. And anybody who's purchased anything through the course of the year, watches are all automatically entered and will be entered and continuing to buy through the Baker Street website. So if you bought anything on Baker Street's website, you will be automatically entered. If you haven't, rush to the Baker Street website and buy something and you'll get entered. And we will announce the giveaway watch next week. But it is cool and it is green.
Yes, sir. And it's not a Hulk. I'll tell you that much. Sorry, guys.
Oh, come on, man. I wanted to give away a Hulk. We don't have a budget to give away a Hulk yet?
Well, Liam just said Ian Poulter was slamming a club and he cracked his ceramic AP. Could you imagine?
Oh, what? That's terrible.
I guess I was on
funny quick story. Ages ago, I had actually one of my first higher end watches. I had Joe, you remember the watch because you were with me when I traded it away. I had an Omega Seamaster Professional Peter Blake, and I was on the golf course. I took a swing, and the entire bracelet came apart, and the watch just fell off my wrist, and I had to get it repaired from Omega. But I bought a gray market, so I had to fight with them for like 6 weeks to get them to cover it. But eventually, they covered it. It was pretty funny, but they had to reassemble the whole bracelet for me. I actually wound up getting a brand new bracelet. So,
well, I think we'll close out there on the story of Tim's new bracelet. But we appreciate everybody for joining us today. It was really fun to get some great interaction from the chat. Feel free to join us next time. Like and subscribe, whatever you can do. All those fun YouTube things that Larissa called.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend if you think this content is silly, funny, or ridiculous, and we're happy to have them too. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Till then,
let's close the